unpacked the U-Haul this morning. Like doing the kitchen. This is the first time, thank you, I have showered and put on real clothes in probably 2 weeks. So thank you to all of you for showing up and getting me out of the house and letting the family do the work at the house. Okay, so listen, where do I want to start with this? I have come from a place of being on a holistic journey for quite some time, and I'm sure all of you here, you know, you don't come to this place if you're not already like on your path to a higher spiritual place and connection with your own divine inner God, inner goddess, everything of that sort. So even though I have like 15 years of all this holistic modalities and practice within me, there's still stuff that comes up from time to time. And as a mom of 3 children, I recently just went through, this is hard to talk about still, but the worst postpartum depression that I have had, and that was just this past year, and it brought me to a place where I was having visualizations that were really hard for me to have, and I had to do my processing. EFT was certainly a part of it, but it's like you kind of throw your hands up to the sky and you're like, again? Like, I thought I had already gone through this. Like, give me something else. And so I got really quiet, and this is what came through. And so here's where I'm going to start with. I think that stress is a warning sign that our nervous system is offline. And I think that's a really important quote. That's like the Stephanie Dodd quote that I want to just like take out into the world. Stress is a warning sign that our nervous system is offline. And so often, like the other day in the car, these cars, little warning sign pops up, car key, battery low. I just hit the okay button, okay, and it goes away. And it doesn't come back for days, and then it pops up again, and I'm like, I got other stuff to deal with. Don't you know I'm moving? Like, okay, right? And I just keep hitting the okay button, and how often do we hit the okay button on our stress? Our stress pops up, and we're just like, okay, just shut me down, I'll deal with you another day. And then it keeps coming back, and eventually what was gonna happen is I was like, we're gonna be in between our houses needing to do stuff, and we're not gonna be able to start our cars. So let's make some time to deal with this. And that's often where we get when we're at this place of stress of like, okay, so let's call our EFT practitioner, let's go see Nancy, let's go get somebody else. But what I have come to find is that if we want to be living a happier life, which is what I think that we're all here for, like we want to be able to go through our days like filled with joy and happy and like not letting all of these warning signs like put us down on the ground in a ball, right? We want to be like, okay, I can deal with that, and actually, okay, I can deal with that. So we're at a place where so often we pacify our stress. And I don't think anyone in this room maybe necessarily pacifies their stress, hitting the bottle to the point where they forget about things anymore. But even still, what I found for myself to be true was I would still pacify my stress. My stress would pop up and I'd be like, I would tap. This is me. Like even if something, this is us on TV, like a show that I like, but people are talking over each other or parenthood, I'd be there tapping. I tap away my stress in the moment, but I never actually reprogrammed my nervous system to not be reacting. And I think what's going on here, guys, in our world is we're on overload. We're on total sensory overload. It's just like everyth's coming at us. So this protocol that came through to me, it came from a higher place, and I'm here to share it with you today, and we're going to go through a practice round of it, is basically intentionally taking away some of our senses to deliberately manipulate other of our senses and giving our nervous system very exact direction on how to shut the up. So we've got to start telling our nervous system no more. I think we're living at a place where our alarms for our alerts are way out of proportion. You know, Mary, you so very were like, oh, yes, my love, what would you like? That's not like real life for me. I'm like, what? What, right? And it's because I've had 3 littles, 7 and under, and it's just like, there's stuff coming at us all the time. Never mind the fact that we've got the internet and we've got the TV, and we don't even drive in the car in silent anymore because it's not like a song comes on the radio and you're like, I don't really like that, let me just turn that off. We've got exactly what we want at our fingertips, and we are just processing. Like, when we see it in our children, I think that we can agree. Like, it's a very on-demand world. And so, sensory deprivation. Is there sensory deprivation tanks around here, like float tanks?
Yeah, float tanks.
Okay, so this stuff's starting to become popular. My husband and I loved it so much we have one in our house, but the maintenance on it is like, oh my good God, do I need another thing to take care of? I just want to pay somebody else to clean that tub for me. So, but here's where we're at, guys. We've got to start turning off our senses, and if we can do that while we're also programming our nervous system, what happens is those alerts come down, and you live at a baseline where your nervous system isn't actually activated the way that we have been conditioned to activate it, so that I can be like, yes, love, what would you like? Without like having to be like, yes, love, drink, be nice to you, right? So that we can do that. So here's what we're gonna do. We cannot, traditionally, what I've been doing, and let me just give this little testimonial. I have a friend whose stress is very high. Her husband is deployed. He's been deployed since August. She has a 10-year-old nonverbal son with autism who does not sleep at night. She's also raising another child and just moved 2 years ago. So not to say somebody's stress is more than ours, but she's at a time in her life where her stress is sky high. She's been doing this every night for 3 weeks before bed. She said it's the first time she's actually slept since her husband's been deployed since August. And we all know, as energetic beings, what do you think happened to her son's sleep? He stopped waking at 3:30. He's now waking at like 4:35 a.m. And she's actually able for the first time to be able to go back to sleep, because what's happening is she's like, her whole nervous system, and that happened, guys, night one that started. And that's why I think that this is so cool, because again, it's a tool like EFT, and I just keep coming back to that because I know EFT so in and out. It is a tool that you can take home and you can do on your own, and you can start implementing it tonight, and it can create rapid change. It's also something that we can take way deeper, and really, while we've got that nervous system in almost like a hypnotic state, tell it exactly what we want it to do. So traditionally what I do, there's a few steps to this. Hi, welcome. I'm talking about the Dodd protocol to happier living, and really what we're talking about here is taking our nervous system, our baseline of whatever our baseline is for our reactions, and lowering that so that we can go through life with just like more ease. And if you go through life with more ease, you're just happier. It's just happened. So in a moment, we're gonna turn off the lights. I'm gonna walk you through this so super fast. Traditionally what I do, put on an eye mask. Me personally, I love one that wraps around the entire head and I can Velcro it tight, because that also then gives that pressure along some of these tapping points. But take away sight, take away sound. If you don't have like earbuds, literally, when I was going through my depression for Christmas, what I got was earplugs to put in, and my husband was like, I'll deal with the baby overnight now. But if you don't have like earplugs, we all have like earbuds for our phone, and you put that in, and the way and reason that I like that is you start to hear your breath internally, and it really starts to tune out. And when you hear your breath internally, there's something so powerful about hearing your breath on the inside. So we take away your sight, we take away any outside sounds, and then we deliberately manipulate your olfactory system with smell. So I brought some oils, and I'm gonna start passing these essential oils around, so that, because I want you to experience this, so everyone can take, I'm not gonna pass around too many, because too many choices will take too long. So here's what we're gonna do. My son's preschool teacher says, you get what you get and you don't get upset. So row 1, you get this one. Row 2, this one. Row 3, this one. Row 4, there you go. So if you just want to take a drop and put it on, the reason that we are going to deliberately manipulate the sense of smell with an essential oil is because the oils, the smell, talks directly to your old brain or your alma mater, and it can get into your limbic system and it can change your emotions. So that is why we deliberately use that, and I'll be curious to see if the smell of that oil changes as you do this. The last thing that we're going to do in this protocol, so we take away sight, we take away sound, we deliberately increase smell. We are now going to use an Eden energy medicine technique to use touch to take down that triple warmer. So we talked about fight or flight with EFT. This is another way of doing it. So I'm going to show this to you guys. So you've got your oil on your hand. You probably take it in, smell it. The first time you can just take it back behind your ears, down your shoulders, and just kind of pull it off and just kind of go down your body. Then what we're going to do is on this side. So again, you're smelling the oil as you take your hand around your ear, down your neck, your shoulder, and then out your fourth finger. And you can do that on each side 3 times. Now here's why I want you guys practicing this, because when I turn off the lights, and we all try and be as quiet as we can, every time your mind starts to wander, every time you feel that heaviness come in your chest, every time you start to think, is this working? That's your nervous system saying like, oh, no, hell no, we're not going to be calm today. Nuh-uh, nope, this is not what we do. And you're going to start giving it direction by saying, nope, we quiet down. So every time your mind starts to wander, it's not exactly a meditation. It might feel like a meditation, but you're going to use this specific technique to quiet it back down. And if you've got that nice oil on your hand, you're also rubbing it by and you're getting that smell. Does anybody have questions before we turn off the lights, or is everybody on board? All right, we're just going to do this for like 2 or 3 minutes. So, but let's, lights are off. Let's just real quick check in with that activation level that Mary talked about. On a scale of 1 to 10, you can just say like, how stressed am I? Or how much am I feeling like I'm activated? And just get that number. We're gonna try and decrease it instead of increasing. Ooh, lovely. Yeah, all right, so everyone just take a breath in. Take your hands up by your nose and just wrap them around those ears again. Pull them off your shoulders. And then just begin to just sit in your own space, in your own breath. And I'm going to be very quiet, but I'm just going to remind you, as soon as your mind starts to wander, I want you to swipe around your ear, down your arm, and out your fourth finger. Time you wonder, should I be doing that again? Yes, you should be. Most beautiful noise of hearing everyone take down their triple warmer. If you have not done it yet, I'll invite you to do it right now, as we'll turn on the lights in just a moment. short 2 to 3 minutes. I found personally that I see equivalent of 60 minutes of meditation. And that's just like because the feeling that I get afterwards is that feeling that we're reaching for. So I just want to check in that 2 to 3 minute time frame. How did that feel for anybody who wants to share? And if not, I'll make my stream. I'll get started.
I was surprised at how quickly I was able to, in a setting where I'm not used to, being amongst people, how quickly I was able to.
Awesome. High five on that. Especially, right? You're like got other people's energies bumping into your energies, but you could just thank you for sharing that. What's your name?
Habiba.
Habiba. Thank you so much. Anyone else want to share?
I'll let you.
I'm Joanne.
Hi, Joanne.
I just feel more grounded, and just feel like I just really got in touch with my inner self. And I have a tower animal, a lion, so I saw a lion and yeah, and I just feel, I know when you yawn, it means that you've done some releasing.
Yes.
So I'm always like, yay!
I got the yawn.
I did some yawning. So yeah, it's really great.
Thank you, Joanne, for sharing that. Yeah. And did you want to say something, Joe? Did you have your hand up?
I just think this will be very beneficial for me. I have almost 2 personalities where I've got a full-time job that is extremely stressful.
Yeah.
And then my holistic self that's very calm and nurturing, and when I'm at a full-time job I need more of my holistic help. And I think just maybe taking some time during the day to do that will bring me back to where I need to be.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I know that just touched other people as like a drop point of like, oh, I could do that work maybe. So yeah, thank you. What was your name? Or what is your name?
Angie.
Angie. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah. Yes.
I was gonna say it helped remind me of like the end of a week I'm in a similar situation where I'm like, I don't really want to do anything, or like you feel drained. So I naturally like turn the lights down or just really isolate a little bit, and that it's okay to do that. It's really important to do that. So that was just thank you for the reminder.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you for sharing that. What is your name?
Emily.
Emily. Thank you so much for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I think part of this came about because when I started to come out, well, something that happened in the midst of my depression is I was to go on a trip with my husband for his 40th birthday across the country to do like some extreme sporting, and I looked at him the day before and I said, I don't think I can go. I'm not in a space, like I can't even talk to my girlfriend without breaking down in tears. I can't get on the plane and go exhaust myself. And I need to away by myself for days. And my husband said, okay, you know what you need to do. That's where I went to a very nice hotel, but I'm hiking in the woods for like 6 miles by myself. I sat in my room in silence. Like I didn't go out to the bar or anything. And it was in that moment where I was like, this is actually my need. I need silence. And I need a break of energetic space from other people.
A reset. It's like a reset. I felt like I was resetting myself.
Yeah, come back. And I really love the power in it because it's like every time that nervous system wants to ping, we just shut it down again. And it's like really taking power back over all of this conditioning that's come up. So thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you for letting me share this with you. This is like my first time unrolling this and speaking to people that I don't know about it. So like utmost gratitude. Thank you for getting me out of my house and away from talking about and freshly showered. You guys are